Okay, this will be interesting because I have no idea how long this is going to go. Um, I'm one of those people, once I get to talking, you have a hard time shutting me up. People talked about, a couple people wanting to know about when I knew I had an ability or got an ability. Well, first I want to say I don't have an ability. Or at least nothing that, I don't do anything that anybody else can't learn. Okay? It's just a matter of, being tuned into it, and it's really not even, I don't think it's that special. Uh, and I don't think that anyone else is really that special in the context of being an intuitive. Some are more practiced at it, and I think that, yeah, some people, there might be a handful of people out there who are genuinely gifted. I've not seen anyone who is 100%. And you know what, that's fine. LeBron James, I'm sure, misses, a free throw once in a while. So it's not, but there's a lot of people out there who are saying they're 100%, and I'm not buying it. So from my point of view, here's the short version. I've had, a certain amount of intuition all my life. I've ignored it because I didn't feel it was reliable, and then a witch put a spell on me, and I've decided I better learn to take charge of this so I can protect myself. That's the short version. Just for fun, I want to talk about certain things in my life that have happened that have clued me in that something's been going on. I was raised, my dad was pretty much Christian fundamentalist. That's how we were raised. At the same time, he had a certain interest in things, and I don't want to go into great detail, but let's just say an interest from a point of view of somebody who of these kinds of things that would not violate fundamentalist Christian sensitivities. So I was raised with that, and then as I got older, I got really interested in things, and my hero was Spock on Star Trek, and he was logical and intelligent and mystic, and so I've always saw myself as more of being interested in mysticism. And all my life, I've been, just fascinated by things. I found a book on pranayama when I was like 16 and started doing breathing exercises. I had a out of the body experience that was just totally frightening to me, and due to the my upbringing, my Christian upbringing, I saw the little girl from The Exorcist right by my bed, the very first out of body experience, and it wasn't really an out of body experience. It was more like a sleep paralysis. That's documented in. I've written about that in What Do You Think of Shamanism that Zoe put out, so you might want to look that up. And some of my experiences with out of the body experiences are listed there. But after that had happened, I got very interested in astral projection, that kind of thing. But I saw these under the umbrella of mysticism, not psychic. And I always try to stay away from psychic ability and psychic things because I just thought it was just too far off, just too far into where I didn't want to be. And I met some pagan and some Wiccan people when I went to college, and I wasn't really too keen on Wicca. But I had this pagan friend, and I tried to goat him into telling me something that he was able to do. Because I was still fascinated by a lot of these things in various forms of mysticism, and he practiced, true paganism. And so I asked him that, I really put it to him, trying to get an answer that, aren't these things psychosomatic, or aren't they rational, and can you really prove, is there anything that you could ever actually do to prove these things are real, And being the incredibly wonderful teacher he was, he just pulled something out of his desk drawer and handed me a cigar box. And, I was expecting him to tell me a story. And he knew that I had been doing a lot of meditation. And so he says, "Did you see what I put in the cigar box?" And I said, "No." And he says, and then he went through this little guided meditation about focusing on what was inside of it and just letting words surface. And the words that surfaced were, brown. It had holes. It was like porous. And then the word green, and I said, well, but brown came. Why would green? He says, don't think, just let the words come, and so I just, went back in this meditative state and just let these words come up. And I said, it's not alive. I know it's not alive, but I know that it had something to do with something that's alive, or was once alive. And then grass came to me. And then I said, I don't know. I know it's not alive, but for some reason grass is coming to me, so maybe it's something that cuts you guys. You're thinking again. Don't think. You just let the words come into your head. He says, but we got enough for now. He said, open the box. And I opened the cigar box, and I didn't know what it was because I wasn't really into music. At least I wasn't in band or anything like that. But it was this little brown piece of wood looking thing. And I said, what is this? He says, it's an oboe reed. He says, if you look very closely, you'll see it's porous. And it's brown, and it's dead, but it was once alive. And when it was alive, it was green. And what is an oboe reed? What is any kind of reed but a very large variety of grass? And so I was floored. I was just totally floored. And we tried to do it again, and it didn't work successively. And that was one of the things that disappointed me about this, was that I could be so accurate the first time on, and then and you can't just randomly pull a word. People say, well, you can associate a group of words with anything. No, you can't. If a tire, a wheel or a tire would not fit that description. That I'm convinced that I was, remotely viewing what was in that box, and it just blew my mind. But at the same time, I also understood this is not the kind of thing that I can rely on, or make a living at, or anything like that. So I've always put that, back in the corner of my life as just odd curiosities. One time I saw a car come off a jack. I stepped 3 steps back, and down it went. And I remember saying to my sister, because it was one of those moments that I just wanted to cry out, look out, because I was afraid someone was going to get hurt. And but then I immediately thought, well, if it doesn't fall off, I'll look foolish. But at the same time, that's silly because I know it's going to fall off. I was certain. Then it occurred to me, and this all happened in, like a flash, in just a moment. Well, if I shout something out and it does come off, then I'm really in trouble because they'll know I'm weird. So I just took 3 steps back, and then after it happened, asked my sister, because I was so startled by the incident, I said, I took 3 steps back before it fell down, not after, didn't I? Because I was, and she says, yeah. And I said, okay. And then she started to think, well, maybe there was, but I kind of dropped it pretty quick. So yeah, it's been the kind of thing, that I didn't want, I've played with at certain points in my life with very few individuals, but it's nothing I really wanted to actively pursue because, it's not something that's reliable. So basically, I did get a lot into the law of attraction, and again, I saw that as being connected with mysticism, and a lot of the people who talk about that are into the mystical sciences. Think people like Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra. So the thing is, I started to get pretty heavy into law of attraction, and I really, wanted to have a soulmate. And again, I have to condense this part of the story. And this is what brought me to Psychic Nights, as a matter of fact. I basically worked really hard on visualizing this person, and the person showed up into my life who was exactly as I envisioned her, right down to size, body shape, eye color, general interest in spirituality. I said she doesn't have to be psychic, but that might be interesting, which I find odd now in retrospect, since I didn't want to be psychic. But I think that the reasoning was, if she was psychic, she'd be empathic, and it would make for a good relationship. And I even at one point said, asked the universe, it wouldn't hurt if she looked a little like Kate Bush too, because I'm a big Kate Bush fan, or at least I used to be. And this woman, I meet her online, and it just, well, long story short, again, this is where you can go back to my earlier post, because I thought we were soulmates, and I do think we probably have a past life connection if there are past lives. I'm not convinced, but I'm not unconvinced. But the psychic entanglement that I had with this woman was just insane. And it really drove me crazy. I had broke it at one point when it just got to be too much for me to handle. And I swear, it was like withdrawal from a drug. And the strange part was I was not addicted to her as much as to the connection. And I've heard all kinds of points of view on this. It saddens me that it didn't work out, and even as friends. And so, again, I don't want to get into too much detail about this, but it was pretty messed up. And I said, I got to, and I thought that this would be my partner as we approached 2012. And once again, I was still more in a mystic point of view. And then I said, I'm going to have to just start to work on this psychic thing, because I don't ever want somebody, to come into my life and just totally, I mean, she had had a vision of me before meeting me. I had had a dream where I heard her voice before I actually heard her voice. Just a lot of weird shit, okay? So I said, I've got to get this down, because I don't ever want someone who's that much more powerful than me. And she says she has, well, I don't want to go into it. Anyways, I don't want to make this a thing about her or bad mouthing her, but I realized I had to develop myself. And that's where I got into tarot, because I realized that if I'm going to proceed to grow spiritually and develop, it was a very difficult life lesson, and it just kind of showed me that I was vulnerable in areas, particularly. I still don't entirely understand it. I'll say it like that. Okay, I could try and put it into words, but you can read some of my earlier posts, and I understand a little more about soulmates and psychic entanglements, and I'm also going back to that whole ideal element of the Vulcan race. They were mystics, and at the same time they were logical. I've worked very, very hard to bring reason into this, and that's why I want to start my video program and discuss that at length. Discuss how you can work with these metaphysical and spiritual gifts, these artistries, and the mysticism, and at the same time have a reasonable belief about it. It not just be some weird, strange thing that we'll never understand, but to say, maybe there are field dynamics to this. Maybe, but that's where I'm at now. And so I'm going to continue to work with tarot. I may even work on other elements of psychic practice. I don't think that it works perfect every time, but I do believe that not only does it exist because of my experience with it and other people's experience, there's scientific data on it as well. So maybe that's more information than y'all wanted, but I thought I'd give you the whole ball of wax. And wow, in under 15 minutes too, because that's the limit for a single video on YouTube. So if I put you to sleep, wake up! Video's almost over. And I really am excited about whenever I get my act together, according to Mercury being in retrograde and some other crazy stuff. Probably wouldn't, I might even hold off another couple weeks before starting my my Shade to Sun video series. If you have any questions, just curious, or if you want to tell me your story, matter of fact, I'm going to post this as "Tell Your Story." And I'm going to do it that way so that everybody else could be invited to tell their story. So if you want to make a video or just talk about it, do it, okay? I want to hear everyone else's story about how they came to this. Good luck. Peace.